What's good, y'all? It's TrashDaKid here, and I didn't plan on making a video so soon. I'm currently working on a bigger project, like a bigger video that's going to take a little bit longer to make. But I decided to stop editing for a bit and check my YouTube feed, and I saw that gameranx posted a video about Dead Island 2, their Before You Buy series, and I'm like, oh shoot. I love hearing what they got to say about, their Before You Buy series, because it's pretty insightful. And so that's what we're going to do today. Now, I have not heard anything else about Dead Island 2 except for the reveal that happened in the, I think it was the State of Play. No, like, it's some showcase that happened a while back. Other than that, I don't know what's in this game. I still don't think it's going to come out because I have been waiting for so long and it has been delayed numerous times. Like when I think it's going to come out, it gets delayed again. I'm like, okay, this time surely, right? Delayed. So I don't even think it's going to come out until the day of 28. Until I see 28th and the game actually released, it's not coming out in my mind. It's not coming out. But enough about that. Let's just go into this video because I'm curious what I need to know about this game because I want to make sure it works perfectly or somewhat perfectly on my system. Let's do it.
Hey, and we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions.
Why is this staggering?
With another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino, and it's been like a decade, and now after different development studios and years, we finally have a full sequel to Dead Island with Dead Island 2. This is published by Deep Silver. It's developed by Dambuster Studios, and we've been playing a review copy, and the footage you see here was captured on PS5. So to not waste your time, the game is decent. It's pretty straightforward, guys. I mean, if you long for the days of games that felt like the stuff like when the original Dead Island released, it's like that. It's a straight up, old-fashioned monster slaying adventure, solo or cooperatively, with crazy weapons, some repetitive combat, and some really cool world design. I'm fine with that. It's not a massive, sprawling open world or shoehorning in any RPG mechanics or bloat where it didn't really need it, and no microtransactions or anything that we can see. It's just a regular old game.
Drop kick that thing? You're crazy.
But I had a really good time playing through it. The star of the show here is Los Angeles, California. Now, events from the original game loosely tie in here and will be referenced, but if you're not up to speed, don't worry, it doesn't matter, and it's
just like a separate game.
Anyway, of course, there's a zombie outbreak here, and everybody is desperately trying to evacuate, and you happen to be with a group of randoms evacuating on an airplane when it suddenly crashes smack right back into the middle of Los Angeles, and it's up to you and a group of survivors to try to figure out how to get out. Now, you choose one of 6 slayers, they're called.
Oh, we got 6?
It's like a varied bunch of people that all have their own little stat differences and their own unique abilities.
I've only played the first game, Dead Island. I never played Riptide. I have it, I just never played it. I could play it right now, actually. But, yeah, if there's, more 6 characters in Riptide, then I guess it's not a new thing. But to me, this is new. 6 characters? That's crazy.
Bonuses. There's the roller derby rocker Irish girl, Danny. The kind of cool British punk guy, Jacob. There's Ryan, the male stripper. Amy, the athlete. Bruno, the hustler guy. And Carla, the LA street smart stunt person. Now, they all seem somewhat different, and it actually took me a minute to choose because you actually have to stick with the character you pick. I ended up going with Jacob because he didn't seem too annoying and had balanced stats, and he's on the box art, and he looks cool, and I'm a simple person, so yeah. You quickly get wrapped up with some surviving Hollywood types and take up residence in an actress's mega mansion in the hills, and then from there, you gather a couple of survivors and set out on objectives. Now, this is where some of the game shows its personality. It's dark humor, and it is deeply cynical. While some of the characters feel like really over the top and cringy, there's some interesting bits to some of them, and you just continue to gather more weird, interesting characters along the way. They kind of remind me of Grand Theft Auto 5 characters. The story itself isn't anything like crazy captivating, and some of the character stuff just kind of pops up and moves along quick, but I still found the scathing critique of Hollywood vanity to be interesting enough. And a lot of characters pop up and come and go throughout it, but it's just nice to see their quick little stories play out.
No, what is that?
Character.
Oh, that has its own name. Also, is that an actual? No, that's a. Animatronic. Okay, never. I'm like, is that an actual moving spider? We
Pop
got
up
like
and
spiders
come
in
and
this
go
game.
throughout it, but it's just nice to see their quick
Zombie
little
spiders.
stories play out. It's entertaining enough. And that Hollywood vanity and satire, critique, whatever you want to call it, all that ties into the worlds they create.
Get back over there.
Areas look really damn good, and they have a lot of like hidden nooks and crannies, and even some little bits of environmental storytelling going on here and there. You can sometimes like wander into an abandoned house and kind of tell what kind of person lived there, or at least what happened. There are just lots of fun details that make exploration pretty interesting.
The story was never the important part.
Crafting scraps and ultimately looking for a great weapon here and there, but it's not like overpowering. The exploration is really to see what's going on, because every area is different, and it still manages to be rewarding. I don't need a shiny carrot on the end of the stick all the time in games, and they do a good job here. Also, it's a small note, but the game does a really good job with like funny signs and weird jokey stuff if you really look.
And we're in LA
kind
too.
Of making fun of influences.
The heck is it?
Forest fire prevention signs, warning signs, all kinds of stuff that actually felt rewarding to stumble upon. I know this one's been talked about in previews before, but there's like a fake influencer house that is just filled with really good tongue-in-cheek stuff. And that's the game. It's kind of just like a zombie slaying funhouse that moves from set piece to set piece. You know, the smashing the zombies remains somewhat the same throughout, and maybe even gets a little repetitive, but it's the places you're doing it and the scenarios that are really damn creative. From raiding staggering yet strikingly realistic looking mega mansions, to walking down Hollywood Boulevard, to water treatment facilities, a haunted Santa Monica Pier,
you get to go to a whole movie set.
Surrounding hills, even movie sets. Like, a lot of the moments just feel really well designed.
I feel like LA is a good place for this too. It's a great place for this.
The movie set stuff in particular I thought was really cool, like running from different soundstage to different soundstage and seeing different movie sets and activating pyrotechnics and special effects machines and making lights fall on zombies, like really creative stuff like that, of course, all culminating with fairly decent boss encounters. It's just fun to play through, and structurally it's actually pretty interesting. It's not technically an open world game. I know I buried the lead here, but hear me out. It actually works really well this way. I know a lot of people are actually going to be bummed out by this, but the game is still surprisingly big.
I am perfectly fine with this.
You access and load into different areas from the main actress mansion area, and each is unique, fairly large, and filled with detail and really no copy and paste or filler stuff. Some areas are a little bit more linear, some are wide open, you know, there's a bunch of different stuff. And this all boils over to the side quests, which mostly do not feel like afterthoughts at all. They have...
What'd you just say? What about these side quests? What'd you just say? Wait a minute. That's important.
Over to the side quests, which mostly do not feel like afterthoughts at all. They have their own areas sometimes, their own creative little scenarios, and unique characters that will end up shacking up inside your survivor's mansion.
Interesting.
Like,
was that
these
ever
side quests actually feel necessary, to be honest, just because they've gotten the care, they've gotten the love.
I don't know if Dead Island 1 they had like side quests like that. I'm trying to think. Well, it's been a while since I played that game. But it was like random tests. I mean, there was like some funny side quests. I don't know.
It's not really always just like by the numbers side quests, you know what I mean? And now, I haven't touched on combat yet because it's just fine. It's not out of this world, and hacking away gets a little repetitive after a while because everything is a sponge, but it's still satisfying. There's some things we got to talk about. Different weapon types have different use cases, like keeping enemies back, bluntly smacking them.
that zombie
some sharp ones for hacking off limbs, some just focus on headshots, and it's fine, but it mostly means you're just endlessly whacking away with the trigger, with like a regular attack and a heavy attack. There are also some abilities and modifiers you get, like choosing a dodge or a block, and more I'll get to in a bit. But it's mostly just a zombie gets in your face and you smash it. Certainly not a bad thing, you know? What really saves it for me, though, is the gore system. The hacks and the swings and the smashes and even the gunshots, like feedback-wise, are okay. Maybe not the best first-person melee you've ever played, but certainly not the worst. But that gore really ramps things up a bit. I can't show too much of it, actually, I don't think. I don't want this video to get demonetized.
That's right. If I play this, I gotta be careful.
It's really impressive in motion. Blunt weapons like snap legs and arms like twigs. Weapons will leave gashes in enemies. Sharp weapons will actually hack chunks of skin off where you hit them and slice limbs off. And acid will melt their skin and like reveal just nasty teeth and eyeballs and bones. Like, it is really, really good, and it doesn't get old. especially the bigger sponge type boss enemies, because by the end of the fight, they're walking around or crawling around, looking like a brutalized mess. Like just
that's pretty dope. That's dope.
It really just elevates some okay melee combat. My only other gripe is that I don't quite like how the guns feel, like with the settings and stuff.
I never use guns
in feeling on them, but still, otherwise, it's fairly fun. And again, with co-op, I think the combat is probably going to be more fun. I didn't get to test it, unfortunately. I didn't have anyone, but I know a lot of people who love just endlessly smashing and murdering
that's a screamer in the trailer.
Friends. So if you're looking for that, I think this is going to be a good way to do it. Then there's a skill card system that lets you change things and kind of work in your own build. Build is a strong word here, but like really just some preferences. But as you progress, you unlock slots to put cards in.
Oh god, that's a big boy.
You unlock cards through progressing in the story and by finding them out in the wild. Now they get you stuff like better critical hit chances, health bonuses, yada yada, to actual different moves like drop kicks, jump kicks, more damage.
That's what I get the drop kick. I get these cards.
A kind of ultimate. Then eventually you even get like kind of zombie rage abilities too, which are okay. Now it's not a lot of progression. I like a good old fashioned skill tree or point system, even if it's simple. And this kind of gets the bare minimum done, but it's decent. There's also a light bit of weapon upgrade and customization. So you find blueprints through exploring, and they let you use the couple of bits and bobs you pick up to craft upgrades. You know, Dead Island stuff, you know, like add electricity, add fire, stuff like that. And also some mods that have trade-offs, like more damage but less durability, or bleed damage, stuff like that. You go through a lot of weapons because there's durability and it's a little annoying, but you find good rare weapons for more upgrade slots.
Oh, where'd you come from?
In a nice move, the consumables aren't craftable. They're just on cooldown. So when you get them, you're good. You just can't spam them. So you're not constantly rummaging for all kinds of stuff. Just grab some stuff if you want to throw a little spice on a weapon. And later on, stick with it, because there's a system kind of introduced that allows you to target and collect specific zombie limbs to upgrade your weapons with a little bit more spice. But those creative weapons also tie in with environmental creativity. So like using the environment to your advantage makes you feel a little smarter and the combat a little bit more satisfying. Like dump water on enemies to make them soggy, then electrocute them with a car battery you ripped out of a car, or you know, even find a water faucet, turn on some more water, create a big pool, and then give that thing a shot to take out a bunch of enemies. And the same goes for like gasoline for fire. There's acid, you name it. There's a lot of attribute work here, and there's a bit of a rock paper scissors with some enemy types even being resistant. Like if you encounter a fireman zombie, you can't just set his ass on fire because he's wearing fireman gear.
That makes lots of sense.
Areas are just riddled with opportunity, and sometimes it's not just like, hey, shoot the explosive barrel. Like you actually have to set some dominoes up before you knock them all down. I can use my brain in a zombie hacking game. It's a lot of fun here. Even if it's simple, it can be a blast. And visually, I actually thought it looked really great on PS5 at least. Smooth frame rates, some great lighting and colors. It just felt like a nice little treat.
Now, that gore stuff you mentioned earlier, would it look good on the PS4 as well? Because I have a laptop. I don't know if it can run the game. Maybe. I'll just see when it comes out. But if not, I'm glad to buy it on the PS4. And I feel like it might be lacking in some departments. I don't know. We'll see.
Some of the vistas look really damn good. And they really actually captured that California feel. Like, as someone who's been there many, many times, but often kind of grumbles about it as an East Coaster, they really did a good job actually capturing the Hollywood vanity and cynicism and even some grimy areas.
Never went to California, this would be my chance.
How much palm trees and oceans and sunsets can really do some heavy lifting. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Californian dream. Visually, the only issue, and this is completely subjective, but I actually got a little motion sickness, and I almost never get that with games. What I had to do was just turn off the motion blur, and that fixed it. Again, it might just be me, but that's a PSA for anybody else. Overall, Dead Island 2 is a fun playthrough with some decent scenario variety and cool environments and gore. And of course, a really good dropkick move. Some zany moments and some good side quests. The game doesn't really overstay its welcome, and you can probably get up to 30 hours out of it if you want to see and do every single little thing.
Up to 30 hours?
As you can tell, like, it doesn't reinvent gaming by any means, but if you were hoping for more co-op, zombie-killing, simple fun, you got it here. It doesn't necessarily blow me away all the time, but it doesn't screw anything up. I don't know if you need to run out and buy this immediately, but if you were looking forward to it and your expectations are set, you've read reviews, you know what the deal is with it, how straightforward the game is, you got some good zombie killing fun at some point. But hey, that's a before you buy. You know how this goes by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinions. And now I want to hear yours down in the comments. What's your experience with the original game, or even the little kind of extra one, Riptide? Were you looking forward to Dead Island 2? Have you been waiting since like 2013, 2014?
Dear God, yes.
Let's talk about anything Dead Island 2 down in the comments. And as always, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. That was a nice video right there. That was nice information. I just want to make sure, like, when the game comes out, it works properly, like it's not super buggy, because you know how games be coming out nowadays. You just gotta be extra careful to buy games when they come out on release day, which I'm gonna be waiting an extra day, like the 29th, to buy it, maybe, just to make sure it works somewhat properly. Like, I don't want no game breaking bugs. I don't want no just random issues. I don't want it to just be like frame rate just like 2. I want to make sure it is a complete game. We have been waiting years. We, the fans, have been waiting years, decades, lives here for this game we didn't think it was going to exist. I know gameplay is basically the same. Not that much progression when it comes to skills. I'm fine with that. I'm just excited to play it when it comes out, or the day after it comes out. Because again, I didn't think it would ever happen. I just, like, this is a momentous occasion. I know the Jedi Star Wars game come out on the 28th. I don't care about that game right now. All I care about is Dead Island 2. It's gonna be fun roaming around California, Los Angeles, to see all the sights while you're beating up zombies, hacking, slashing with these muscle-bound zombies over here. It's gonna be great. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I just want to make a quick reaction video to this because I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. Let's hope, fingers crossed, let's hope the game comes out somewhat perfectly. No issues here and there. So we can all have a great zombie slaying adventure on California. But yep, that's gonna do it for this video. TrashDaKid is out of here. And this is y'all. I still can't believe it's gonna happen. Maybe, hopefully. I'm still hoping it comes out on the day, but I get delayed again.
Mama said get out of bed, it's time to pray. Leave your ego at the door, it's in the way. Cause we just trying to get ahead, yeah. Put some money in the offering plate, yeah.